Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. One more crazy Karen, one more store, and our first story called Wholesome, Violent, and Confusing. But before we start, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Hey, repeat offender on this sub. Second post, but I couldn't let this story go untold, as it's actually quite nice. At least as much as it is enraging. It's about 11:30 p.m. and I'm wandering the aisles of a large chain 24-hour store looking to soothe my sudden, inescapable craving for crap food. As I enter the aisle with frozen foods, I see a little kid there. And I mean really little, as in this kid is so small that he's stumble walking and using the freezer doors for balance. His cheeks are red and tear-stained. It's very clear this child was lost. I stand there for a few moments, wondering if I should approach the small child of undeterminable gender. I end up doing so and tell them to stay where they are and that I'll find their parent. The child complies, whether willingly or not, by sitting down in the aisle, sniffling. So I walk out of the aisle and start looking around for anyone that looks like they may be frantically searching for a child. But I got absolutely sidelined by this woman who rounds a corner super fast and recklessly. As her cart hits me, I stumble and shove the cart back angrily. She starts talking crap about, "Why were you standing there, you idiot?" and "Don't shake my cart or I'll get you fired." At this point, my mind is slightly muddled because it's late and I want to find the kid's parents. But I quickly retort that I don't work here and she should look where she's going. She then pushes the cart back at me with intent to hit me a second time. I flip the cart as it hits me. I'm a big dude, so no cart semi-full of hot dogs, white bread, cheese, and mayonnaise can stop me. And the commotion causes an actual employee to run over. Luckily, he didn't see me flip the cart, so I just catch him before he arrives fully on the scene and tell him that I found what may be a lost child. Angry lady tried to butt in, but the employee looked between me and her and thankfully decided that the priority of the child was more important than a flipped cart. With me and the employee's combined efforts, we found the parent, very distraught young woman, who couldn't have been a day over 19, who'd lost sight of her child after she'd let it out of the little stroller buggy. We reunited the woman with her child, and she thanked us profusely, and the employee thanked me personally. Oh God, the warm fuzzies. With that ordeal behind me, I nab a bag of pizza rolls and started to walk to checkout. I could see the lady who ran into me again. She looked at me like she wanted to throw hands, stepping away from her cart and approaching me. She opens her effing barking seal mouth and demanded my name tag and the name of my manager and the CEO because she was getting me fired. I glared into her piggy little eyes and said, "I do not work here. Look at my shirt. Look at it." It's prudent to note that at this time, I was wearing a navy shirt with a Captain Crunch emblazoned across it proudly. Do I look like an employee? She's mad and backs down after a few moments. I can hear her muttering, but I'm very done by this point, since I didn't expect to go to the supermarket for a effing emotional roller coaster. I go to check out, and I see the woman I helped previously bagging her groceries in the next lane over. She smiled so brightly at me and waved as she left. The fuzzies come back. After paying for my food, I leave quite happy. Not even an angry old woman hitting me with a cart twice could ruin the satisfaction of helping someone else. But maybe the cart tipping was also part of that satisfaction. Back off, lady! So earlier today, I went to go buy some more hamburger buns from the grocery store. My roommates and I had bought way too many burgers for our Labor Day cookout yesterday, and it looks like we'll be eating said burgers for the next week. Whatever, I'm not going to complain. Anyway, I'm in the middle of a job hunt, so while perusing the bread aisle, I get a call from one of the HR reps I've been speaking with. I end the call and start going back to looking for the buns I want when this old woman taps me on the shoulder and our conversation begins. "Could you please tell your deli worker to hurry up with my order? I have to leave in 5 minutes. "Oh, I don't work here." She then tapped me on the shoulder. "Excuse me, I heard you just helped that woman over there." She pointed to a woman on the far side of the aisle, clearly minding her own business. I put two and two together. I ended my previously mentioned call with something like, "Thank you, ma'am, and if you need anything else from me, just let me know." Me. "Ma'am, I don't work here. You heard me on the phone with someone else." I turned back around. Well, she didn't like that. As I'm bending over to pick up the buns I want off the bottom shelf, she slaps me on the lower part of my back and starts yelling about how she needs her deli order. The next part of the conversation is all yelling. I won't put it in caps because that's what Fox commenters do. Me. Lady, you better back the hell up and not touch me again. I have a GD basket. I'm not wearing a uniform. I don't work here. Back the F up. Well, that must have gotten the manager's attention, because the next thing I know, I'm face-to-face with a late 40-something-year-old wearing a bright yellow button-down. Manager, is there a problem here? Her, yes, your employee won't help me. Manager, you don't work here. Me, no, I do not. Manager, miss, this man does not work here. Her, well, who's going to help me with my deli order? Manager, let me walk you over to the deli department. I hate old people. What do you mean I don't work here? This is a bit of a different story, but I hope you don't mind. It happened about 6 months ago. I work as a software developer for a large company. As all big companies, ours has this god-awful intranet system with integrated software from all kinds of providers. Some are for time tracking, some for HR tools. A common thing about them is that sometimes they just don't work, and I've learned not to sweat it. Anywho, it was another one of those times. I was about to report my weekly hours, and once again, the system doesn't work. I was able to log in, but couldn't access my timesheet. Well, another one of those times. I'll just try again tomorrow. Next day, still doesn't work. Weird, huh? Must be something big going on. Come third day, it's still not working, which is really strange. I still didn't care much, however, and as it was payday, I thought I'd check my pay slip, as well as my vacation days I'd reported some time before. I first go to check the vacation days, and what do you know? I can't access the page. That's really strange now. These two systems are by different providers and are in no way connected. I go to check my payslip, and the sum total was off. It was about 30% more than it should be. I go through the lines and notice that they've paid me the compensation for vacation days I haven't taken. That sort of thing only happens when you quit your job. I started to sweat profusely, and my heart rate hit like 200. I checked up the phone number to our HR services and called them. This HR dude answers, and I ask him why they paid the vacation compensation. He clicks around for a moment, then blurts, "It seems like you don't work here anymore." My heart couldn't race any quicker, so instead it probably just gave up for a moment. What? HR, yup, it says your last day was Tuesday. Me, no one ever told me. Was I fired? HR, nope, says here that you quit your job. Me, what the hell? I most certainly did not. HR, okay, so you still work here? Me, well, yeah. HR, all right, let me get this report forwarded. We hang up and I went to tell my manager. He was shocked and was not informed of this. This led to a lengthy period of emails and phone calls being passed around, HR employees trying to figure out what happened, and finally I was able to get my paycheck straightened out. It's funny to reminisce about now, but back then it felt awful. We never found out what exactly had happened. If someone had played a prank on me by logging into the HR services using my credentials and made me quit, it would have informed my manager first. Chances are they mistakenly marked me instead of someone else. No, sir, I'm not your intern. In my line of work, we usually get invited to different places to speak. One time I was invited by a company as a guest lecturer. I arrived bright and early, perhaps too early, since there were no people in the conference room and nobody from the HR office greeted me. Since I had an hour to kill, I sent a quick text to my contact person to let her know I'd arrived. She responded that she was on her way and that I could wait in their staff lounge in the meantime. I followed her texted instructions to locate the lounge, then settled into the couch for a quick round of Summoner's War while I waited. About 20 minutes later, a tall, balding man entered the lounge. He was frowning with grump written all over his facial expression. He clattered around in the kitchen area, banged a few cupboard doors, then turned around to face me. "You," he pointed at me with gritted teeth. "Get me a GD cup of coffee if you want to keep interning here." I stood up. "I'm sorry, but I don't work here." "Ah, shut up!" And he lunged forward so he was right in front of me. "You lazy, entitled brats think you can just sit and play games on your phones all day?" At this point, I realized he thought I was one of his interns and that he was not open to discussion. It wasn't an uncommon occurrence either. I'm a tiny, baby-faced person and often mistaken for a high schooler. Still, I was not in the mood to be yelled at. I took a deep breath and attempted to explain again, but once again he interrupted me with a tirade of abuse. At this point, the door opened and a tentative intern, a real one, meekly informed him that he needed to head to the conference room for a seminar. The man glared at me and left, and after a couple of minutes, my contact person arrived to collect me. When we arrived at the venue, the room was packed, and one of their vice presidents was reading my CV by way of introducing me to the participants. When he announced my name, I stepped in, thanked him, and shook his hand warmly. I will never forget the look of horror that crossed his face when he realized he had yelled at me and called me lazy earlier. I don't work here, and I definitely don't work for you. So I moved into a new house recently, which required me to buy a new bed and subsequently new sheets. That's the background, all of it. Stop reading the preface. Go to the story. So I was looking for sheets inside Steinmart because that's where I figured they might have some of those. I was wearing my BNHA t-shirt, headphones, and torn jeans. As I'm looking, an older lady comes up to me. "Hey, where can I find rolling pins?" Me, taking out a headphone. "Excuse me? I need a rolling pen, and you really shouldn't be wearing those at work." I agree with you. Only problem being, I'm not at work. "Oh, well, could you at least find me someone who works here?" I'm now annoyed. "No, I'm just looking for sheets." "Well, then you should have time to help me." I said no. You should respect that. After that, I put my headphones back in and tuned everything out. She stayed there for a couple more minutes and snapped a couple times. It was more annoying than anything. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.